most companies go through an evolution, right? They start as a startup, they then evolve, they move into mature markets, and then they have to think about how to continue to innovate. And so our job is to help them identify what that innovation looks like, how they can actually provide that and execute that in the marketplace. And so we serve as partners with them where we co-collaborate and help them solve these kinds of business problems.
Ability to have an impact on a lot of different things and to learn how to have an even greater impact. I, in other work experiences, saw that could be a little frustrating, and I really wanted to make things happen and be at the center of the hardest problems.
You can start in consulting and then transition into other roles, and the great thing is that the firm sees a value in that, and you can come back and pivot back into consulting.
You're essentially applying and interviewing for a job as a problem solver, so you really can translate any past experience into how you have solved a problem.
I think the biggest challenge is also one of the things that is the biggest advantage of being in consulting, and it's the variety, right? You are typically jumping from project to project, and it may be different industries, you're working with different teams, and so you're always trying to be adaptable or having to be adaptable and learn something new.
A lot of people would apply for consulting jobs because it sounds glamorous. I would get rid of that notion. Always remember why you want this consulting experience, and keep that in mind with all of the decisions you continue to make once you're on the job.
Hard skills are not that important. I think the reality is we want people that are curious, want to think in a logical framework about different types of problems, and are hungry, right? And are willing to roll up their sleeves and get the work done.
Maybe there's people who you look ahead and you think, oh, that is someone who I think is a role model. Seek those people out. Don't assume that that's just going to happen. You should take ownership of that.
Working with people who continue to challenge me to think differently, to be a bit more aware of what's happening in our environments. Really just being in a culture and environment where I am continuing to grow is very rewarding.